friends. I'm your host, Erin Port, and welcome to the Simple Purposeful Living podcast. Life can be overwhelming and busy, so once a week, I invite you to join me, and together we will make simple tweaks to uncomplicate the hard parts of our life so we can spend more time doing what we love. Welcome back to the Simple Purposeful Living podcast. I am delighted. I'm kind of fangirling a little bit today because Kate from Naptime Kitchen is here. I've been a longtime fan. There's just something about Kate. She's so relatable and honest, and any mom can just relate to what she shares, from pinworms to trash maggots, right? And everything in between.
Yes.
She shares it with the internet in hopes of encouraging us, and she does a great job at that. So welcome to the podcast, Kate.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
And for those of my listeners that haven't followed you for a long time, they're going to be raving fans after this. But can you share a little bit about who you are and what you share online? Has it been 9 years now that you've been
Yes.
sharing? Okay.
Yes, almost. It'll be 10 years in January. So I'm Kate. I started an Instagram account called Naptime Kitchen. This was 9 years ago. This was before Instagram stories. This was before anybody created reels. And it was a very simpler time for sure. But I really started it because I had one child. He napped twice a day. I was bored. And so while he napped, I would cook. And I would cook like elaborate meals. And so I would take pictures of them, but then I was like, well, I feel weird putting these on like my personal page. I'll just start a separate Instagram account. And so I called it Naptime Kitchen, and the tagline was like, while the baby sleeps, I cook. So that's how it started. It was like, I didn't know people even had businesses on Instagram. I really don't know if that many people did at the time. But it just kind of slowly grew from there. And then we had a second child, then a third, then a fourth. And so a lot of like the meals got way less elaborate. And then it started to kind of go into more like, how do we function as a family? How do I get things done? My personal thoughts on motherhood. And so it's really like morphed over the years and just share a lot of my personal life there. So.
And it kind of feels like a big sister, all the things that maybe we weren't told as kids, right? You share a lot of like the things that your mom has taught you. I love the relationship that you have with your mom. So all of those kinds of things, I love it. And it's so encouraging. And I really think it's so different than what you see a lot of online. It's just very authentic and relatable. You come to us on the good days and then the hard days from your walks and from your kitchen. So all of that. And you have a book coming out, which we're going to get to, but so exciting. You wrote a book. I mean, gosh darn it. You've birthed 4 babies and now a book. That's a big deal.
Thank you. Thank you. It felt like a birth.
Yeah.
So.
That's my mom. Yes, my mom would say, like when I was writing, she'd say, "You're at 9 centimeters. Keep going, keep going."
Yes, I love that.
Okay, so you said the other day on stories, and I loved it. You were like, "Hey, solidarity. If you feel like there's a million things coming at you, I'm feeling like I'm failing at all the things." And many of moms in May feel that way. It's one of the busiest seasons of motherhood. We've got field trips and teacher gifts and sports and concerts, and I'm going to stop because it's going to stress us out. But what are some things that you've implemented, some tiny tweaks that help you when life feels like it's just flying by?
Yes. Well, I'm still taking notes for anybody that has them personally. Um, Two things that came to mind. One is like anything I can do ahead of time,
Mm,
I try and do, even if it feels silly, like, okay, it's only April. Why would I get teacher gifts?
mm,
But if I am at the grocery store and I see the aisle with gift cards and I can just go ahead and get $10 gift cards
mm.
there, I'm going to just go ahead and do that.
I love
Like anything that I can check off, even if it feels early to do so, I'm going to check it off. So I think that is something I've started to do. Like even I remember I went into Target and the Valentine's decorations were out and it was like, it was right, it's like they've just gotten past Christmas. And you might think like, why in the world would I, like, it's so early. But I was like, I'm going to buy the Valentine's right now
that.
because then it's done. I don't have to think
Mhm.
about it again. And so just being able to check things off, even if it feels really early in advance, like do it, like thank your future May self by
Mhm.
going ahead, do your teacher gifts next week. Like, go
Mhm.
for it, you know? So that was something. And then the other thing, I do this a lot in December. And since, May is like coined Maycember,
Mhm.
any like I think that a lot of the times there's a cumulative buildup of stress from, like we were talking about, the amount of things.
Mhm.
And so anything that I can remove for a few weeks, and for me, it's like very small. Like I might be like, you know what? I'm going to take everything off the fridge for
Mm.
the next few weeks, or anything that's not super necessary on the kitchen counter. Or in the morning, I might start playing piano music as
Mm.
opposed to music with words, which all of these things seem really small, but I think that it's almost like a cumulative effect. So if it's like I wake up, there's a ton of things on the fridge, the music has words, I'm already like kind of frazzled. But so anything I can kind of simplify, which I know feels like, well, duh, aren't we all trying to simplify? But those are some like really small ways. So if I can make our main living spaces feel slightly calmer, that helps my like cumulative overload of things coming at me.
I love that because brain clutter, and then we have visual clutter. So anything that we can visually remove eliminates some of that clutter from our lives. I love
Yeah.
that. That's so good. And honestly, that's what I preach is the tiniest tweaks make the biggest impact. So while we think it's really not that valuable, it has a tremendous impact on
Yeah.
our life. Those
And
things.
it's so funny too because my fridge has had stuff all over it and it hasn't bothered me for months. And just this week, it started to feel like, gosh, this is bothering me. And I was like, oh, this is because our life is starting to get busy. And it's funny how these like small triggers. So maybe just like if you're in your house, if there's something that's like triggering you,
Mm.
all of a sudden, it's like, can you just get rid of like, like if something that just is in the way, it's like just stick it in a closet, stick it in a closet till the summer, you know?
Yes. Yeah, and I love that because I think too, like you said, it's a trigger. And so even just stepping back and being curious, like, why am I, oh, it's because I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm just going to take it,
Yeah.
like you said, just take it out, not beat yourself up or make your, just say like it's a trigger and I'm going to remove it for a season and put it back. I love that. That's
Yeah.
so good. Everybody's going to their fridge right now and removing all I have all the things also on my fridge, all the
Yes.
pictures and all the things. Yes. Okay. So you're known for your budget-friendly, time-saving kitchen tips. I love them all. I especially loved your one that you did with your aunt for the Super Bowl with the snack mix. That was so cute. But what's one tip or recipe in May that's saving your sanity? I mean, I know you talk about Pasta Monday, and maybe I'm stealing your thunder. Maybe you're going to talk about that. But what is one tip?
Well, I was just telling Nate yesterday, our freezer has been saving our sanity because,
Mm,
like, in the winter, I tend to do a lot of like freezer meals and life has felt busy. And so, one thing I would say is if you have food
mm,
in your freezer, use it in May.
mm.
Like, use all the meals out of your freezer. And then when it's slow in the summer, you could like take a day and restock your freezer or just have the extra space for ice cream. But I think that a lot of people, I think, always look to like a meal in the freezer and they're like, well, no, this isn't the time. I need to be like ultra stressed out. But it's like, no, just use it on a random Tuesday to give yourself a break. So I am like our freezer is almost like bare, but I'm
Mm.
like, what is in here that I could feed my family? And then funny enough, we have really gotten into frozen meatballs. And when you said like, what is saving you? I was like, honestly, I think it's frozen meatballs because I can cook them really fast and I can cook them in uh like an Asian sauce or a barbecue sauce and serve them over rice. I can cook them in a red sauce and serve them over pasta, but it just feels like this. I like making homemade meatballs, but there is times in life for homemade meatballs,
Mhm.
and there are times in life for frozen meatballs. And this is a season for us of frozen meatballs, but I'm like, gosh, that is like an actual thing that has been really helping us is what can I do to these frozen meatballs to serve them to my family?
So we were at Costco a couple of weeks ago, and my kids are all for the free samples. And the Costco meatballs were sampled, so of course we bought like the jumbo. They're
Yeah.
delicious. And I asked them like how, because I'm always like, how do you prepare these? Because I was just curious. And they're like, oh, we just put a little Worcestershire sauce in, however you say that, Worcestershire
Yeah.
sauce. And so I literally last this week I put the frozen meatballs in the slow cooker with a little bit of water and a little bit of Worcestershire sauce.
Oh,
I'm telling you. My kids, I was like, why do I we're
Why do you try so hard?
why do I try so hard? Like the Costco meatballs that were sampled, that's what they, and again, saving our life right now. And I think that just helps other moms like go buy. What are your favorite meatballs? Mine are the Costco. Do you have a favorite? I know
Well,
you make them.
recently I do like to make them. I love to make them just because I like love a good spaghetti sauce meatball. But I've been getting the brand Simek, Simek,
Okay,
Simex. They have been on sale at Whole Foods the last few times I've been, and they have like an Angus beef one, a turkey one, a kid size one that are like smaller. So we've just been like, just because that's where we are, that's the brand I've been buying
perfect.
and
I love
just
it.
making them a million ways.
Okay,
So
put meatballs on your. So you're gonna have pasta Monday. We do sandwich Tuesday. We do every Tuesday sandwich night here. So that's what we do. And
I
then
love
you
that.
can have meatball like Wednesday. You've got
Yeah.
3 meals figured out. Like we're just
Yeah.
good to go.
And I do love to cook rice. Like we cook a lot of rice. Obviously, that's the cheaper way to go. But I cannot say enough good things about frozen rice. That
Oh,
you buy like like Trader Joe's has it, Whole Foods has it, but everybody has like frozen packs of rice and it's so nice. You just like pour it in a bowl, microwave it for 2 minutes, and it's like perfectly steamed. And then you're not cooking rice if you're in a time crunch.
I
So
love
I always have frozen rice because for instance, last night it was like, I'm going to quickly cook these meatballs and barbecue sauce and I'm going to microwave this frozen rice. And then that's what we're having.
everybody is just everybody right now. Put it on your grocery list. Meatballs and frozen rice. And you have
Yes.
Kate, you've just saved our lives next week.
And Hawaiian rolls for
Oh,
your picky eater.
that's right. Hawaiian. As I always tell people, like when I introduce something new, I always have bread because my kids love carbs. So I'm like,
Yeah.
and Hawaiian rolls are like a gift from above.
Yes.
From Hawaii. I
Yes.
don't know.
Yes. Exactly. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So what are some things you kind of touched on this, which I think is so good, like some subtracting and some simplifying. But what are some things you don't do right now that help you create more peace in your home in May?
Okay, I knew you were going to ask this, and I was like racking my brain. And I was like, maybe I don't know what I'm not doing. I'm like, what are other people doing? And maybe it's like, I guess aside from the, we are doing more. Like my girls are starting swim team. My son does tennis. Alberta just stands there and asks for snacks at all of these different activities. Um, and so I feel like that is our activities right
Yeah.
now. So I guess we're not adding anything extra and we live for a weekend without anything
Yeah.
on it. Like
But
if
that's
we have a weekend with nothing on it, we're not going to plan something for the
And
weekend.
I think that is simplification, right? Like you are guarding your schedule like a hawk, which I think is so important because I'm the same way. Our Monday through Friday is crazy. And so on Saturday, like on either Saturday or Sunday, I'm like, I'm gonna just need a little bit of time to kind of wrap my head. But you also talked about like frozen rice instead of making it homemade or frozen meatballs instead of making homemade. All those
Yeah.
little things where we're simplifying as moms to just make it a little bit easier on ourselves without the guilt, I think, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I would say for May, like if you were to really look and be like, okay, I'm going to meal plan for 1 week. And then like what if you just repeated that meal plan
Mhm.
for the 4 weeks of May? Because you're not signing your life away. It's not for the whole
Yep.
year. But what if you were to be like every Monday in May we're going to eat spaghetti.
Mm-hmm.
Every Tuesday we're going to make sandwiches. Every Wednesday we're going to have meatballs and rice and a sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Every Thursday we're going to have breakfast for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Every Friday we're going to have pizza. Like, what if you just were like May is done?
Yep.
And I'm not going to feel bad that I'm serving. Your kids don't really care. If they like spaghetti, they're not going to mind spaghetti every Monday. So I'm actually preaching to myself because
Why do you think I started the podcast?
I'm like, actually, I think that's what we need to do in May.
We got it covered. See, this is why we met. So now we know. It's funny because I shared that I make macaroni and cheese for my kids. And I'm telling you, it makes the internet go bananas every time I share. But I was like, 2 billion boxes of macaroni and cheese are consumed every single day in the world. I'm like, you know what? A box of macaroni and cheese in May,
Yeah,
you're good to go.
yeah,
You
it's so
know,
true.
just take.
Eh, Yeah, and just for anybody that's like, oh, I'm trying to get some better things in my
Mm,
kids, when I feel that way, I just make a smoothie. I
Mm.
like, so I'm like, if you want to do macaroni and cheese with a smoothie that has like strawberry, banana, Greek yogurt, I don't know, whatever else you want to throw in there. I'm like, the smoothie a lot of the times is my like, they like it, but I'm not, it's frozen. Half the time we don't have fresh fruits. I'm like, frozen fruit's already there, calling it done. And it's getting to be summer. So, it's like a fun thing to have.
And that's where I always stick like the greens because my kids don't
Yeah.
like lettuce or anything. So I'll just stick
Yeah.
the greens in there, the protein, whatever you get. They kind of
Yeah.
banana just covers a multitude of flavors.
Yes. Yes.
And
I would
that's what I
agree.
do with all my bananas too. I just put them in the freezer because one day my kids love bananas and then the next we don't eat bananas anymore. So they're all in the freezer and I just chop them up, put them in a bag, and then I have them for smoothies. So it's perfect.
Yes.
I love that.
Totally agree.
Smoothies are the unsung hero of life.
They
Just
are.
yeah. We could just have a smoothie night. There you go. Smooth.
Yeah.
That's our
Or,
sixth night.
yeah,
We're
exactly.
covering all the bases. Okay, so what advice do you have? You're really good about making kitchens accessible. I think a lot of people are very intimidated by the kitchen. Like they weren't taught how to cook. They don't feel confident. And so what advice do you have a mom who wants to cook more at home but feels overwhelmed by the time, mess, and budget?
Yeah. Well, I think it all kind of feels like just starting with
Mm,
one little goal. So I feel like you can either be like, I'm going to pick one cookbook, like maybe
mm,
there's somebody you follow their Instagram and you love it and you're constantly like saving things and they have a cookbook. I would be like, buy that person's cookbook
mm,
and just decide like I'm going to just try and cook one new thing a week out
mm,
of this because you learn a lot when you cook a new recipe.
mhm,
So I feel like that would be an easy like I'm trying to learn how to cook more. Or
mm,
maybe you're like I'm sick of cooking, I want to give myself more breaks. I would say why don't you try and double one meal a week
mhm,
and freeze the second half so that every other week you have a meal out of your freezer.
mm,
Like you can just kind of try and get into a rotation of simplifying how often you cook by batching things.
mhm,
Um, and then I think for anyone that just feels really intimidated, it kind of goes back to that repetition of like, why don't you try and just pick three meals and just cook them every single week
mhm,
until they feel like I've got those down. And then like you add a new one in. But personally I was feeling really like so burnt out in the kitchen, not excited at all. I was so sick of me feeding my family because my kids are tyrants and like unfortunately like one loves pasta. It's like all she wants to eat. My son is super adventurous eater. The one food he doesn't love is pasta. He'll eat
Oh,
sushi, but it's like I don't love pasta. So it's like, it's so frustrating to try and fill all these holes. So personally, I just wanted to enjoy it for myself
mhm,
again. And so I started to go to cookbooks and look at and like pick a cookbook. And I've been doing this since January. I pick one cookbook and I let it just be my like inspiration for the month. And so I really just try and cook one recipe a week out of the cookbook. But it's normally something I haven't made before, something I'm like, oh, that looks delicious.
mhm,
And so at least one meal a week, I don't even care if anybody else eats it. I'm like,
mhm,
eat the Hawaiian rolls and the fruit. But for me, it's breathed new life into the
mhm,
kitchen again, where I was feeling like very burnt out and
mhm,
unhappy.
mhm,
And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this for me. I'm going to like sit down. I'm going to buy the cookbooks. I'm not going to be on my phone. I'm just going to sit down with a cookbook and put little like sticky tabs and then go from there and like start actually using them. So I guess that to say that was like a small way for me that I started to enjoy the kitchen again. But also I would say something I think is important is I think you can decide that you want to cook more, especially as a mom, if you're home and you want to do that. But I don't think you have to believe that you have to enjoy it
mhm,
to be a good mom or
mhm,
be a good wife or be a good person. Like I'm like I think somewhere along the lines we somewhere in like the woman, I'm cooking dinner for my family. It's wonderful. It's such a huge service to your family that you would do
mhm,
that, but it is a service and you don't have to love it. And so I think if you don't love it, I guess I just don't want you to feel like you're doing something wrong.
mhm,
Like
mhm,
there's a lot of things I don't love that aren't like virtues.
mhm,
And I would say like if cooking isn't that for you. It's not a virtue. It's not a morality issue. If your husband loves it and wants to do it, great, go
Yeah.
for it. Like,
Yep.
so I guess I wanted to share like advice for if you want to cook more, but I do want to just make sure that you know if you're listening and you don't enjoy it, that's okay too.
Yeah.
And it can just be a thing that you're like, freaking A, this is something that I have to do. And maybe hopefully you find ways to enjoy it more, but you are not a lesser person or mom if it doesn't bring you joy.
My grandma is never enjoyed cooking. She never saw herself as a good cook, and she made the same meal every time we went. She's from Minnesota, so it's a hot dish, is what they call it, which is kind of casserole, but like this hamburger hot dish. It was like a can of French onion soup, a pound of ground beef, and rice. Like that was it. But and then she served it with white Wonder Bread and butter. That's what we had every single time we went. And honestly, I loved it. And I didn't know until years later that she didn't love to cook and that's really the only thing she felt comfortable. Like to me, that was a hug from her. Like I just
Yeah.
and so I think we put so much pressure on ourselves as moms. I always think of my grandma, like she made that one meal and I felt special and loved every time I went to her house because it was her meal to me, right? And so I think we just put so much pressure on ourselves as moms to like
Yeah.
have seven different Pinterest worthy meals. And maybe it's because we see what everybody else is eating and we compare, but
Yeah.
I just go back to my grandma. I'm like, she loved us so well. And that was, and she was like,
Yeah.
I wasn't a good cook. I'm like, yes, you were. That hamburger hot dish was amazing. I still miss it. And mine doesn't taste like hers.
Oh, I love that.
So, yes, I just, all those things, I think we believe the lie. And, and I think it's so good. So I love what you had to say. And you're not broken. I think so often we just think we're like broken or something's wrong with us, and we're not. So
Yeah.
we all have different talents and interests, like I actually like washing the dishes, but if you ask me to scrub the toilets, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like we all have things.
Yeah. And I feel like if you were to say, oh, I just don't like cleaning, nobody would be like, oh my gosh. Like
Yes.
everyone would be like, yeah, that's like normal to not like that.
Yeah.
But cooking a lot of the times can fall into this like, oh no, that's something you should
Yes.
enjoy. It's like you really don't have to.
Yep. Yep. I
So,
love that. And it can be simple, as we talked about.
yes.
Yes. I love that. Okay. So your new book is coming out so soon. I just wish I had a bigger kitchen and other lies I think will make me happy. And I just would love if you would share a little bit about why you wrote it, what you hope readers will get out of it. Anything you want to share. I'm just so excited.
Thank you. I know I am really excited. So I have always loved writing, and that was a really big part of how my Instagram started, especially back when it was more squares and words beneath it. Like that was a kind of how Instagram functioned for a really long time. And for being online as long as I have, I think I just really started to notice personally like the ways that I would struggle with contentment and still do. Oh my gosh, that's like a story for another day, but it is hilarious how I have this book coming out and the amount of times that I have wished for a bigger kitchen or like a million of the chapters. I'm like, the irony that this book is coming out and I am feeling a lot of these things pretty intensely. So all that to say, I'm not writing from the other side. I'm really
Mhm.
writing in the muck of it with you. But it goes through 10 areas that I have personally struggled with. I just wish. And we purposely called it I just wish, not something different, because I feel like most women wouldn't tell you I'm super unhappy in my life, or it's usually just like, no, I'm great. I just wish that I
Mhm.
was 5 pounds lighter, or I just wish that my husband was a little more thoughtful. Like
Mhm.
it's like these tiny little statements, but I think those tiny little statements like eat away
Mhm.
at like the life we have. And so it's like I just wish I had a bigger kitchen. I just wish I was a good mom. I just wish I had a better husband. I just wish I had control. I just wish I had more money. I just wish I had more time. Um, and a few others I can't remember right this minute, but I really just dive into like personal stories from my life, and ways that I've dealt with these things, and then end with some practical questions to ask yourself, or like practical things that helped me because I am a highly practical person.
Mhm.
And so I feel like I like beliefs, but I really need help with action steps. So each chapter kind of ends with like a few practicals and action steps that have helped me. So yeah, it comes out in August.
Okay. Well, of course, we will put the order to pre-order. And you made it big because there were some hoaxes on Amazon. So that is, you
Yes,
when you get like a faux copy of a book on Amazon. Yeah.
it was. It was pretty. I was like, oh, look, there's knockoffs. Um,
Oh.
so
So, okay, well, we will put the link to that in the show notes. Okay, I have a couple of rapid fire questions
yes.
for you. So, what's one thing you always keep in your fridge?
I always have like green, pre-made like green smoothies. So on my blog, there's something called the Daily Green, and it's kind of a smoothie method for making a big batch of a smoothie. And so I almost always have a jar of the Daily Green in the fridge. But
Do you
if you
have a
go to my, go ahead.
do you have a smoothie every morning? Is it for breakfast?
No, it's just kind of like something I grab mid-morning. It doesn't have any protein in it. It's just like a ton of spinach, cucumbers, celery, coconut water, lemon juice, lime juice, and a little bit of mango.
Okay.
So it's just like a lot of greens, but I buy a lot of cucumber at once, I buy a lot of celery at once, and then I buy a big tub of spinach. So I just like cut a bunch of cucumber, freeze it in a gallon Ziploc, cut a bunch of celery, freeze it in a gallon Ziploc. But I make a big batch of the smoothie and then I'll drink it for like 3 days because I make like a 64 ounce. So then I'll just break it up and but the kids will, if it's in the fridge, the kids will drink it. But I
Okay.
normally have.
I love it.
It's just like one of those things where you're like, this is just immediately gonna make me feel good.
Yep.
So if I'm like blah in the middle of the day and I drink it, I feel like it kind of like helps turn my day back,
I love that.
you
So
know?
simple.
So,
And we need
um,
that this time of year. I like that.
yes.
We will be sure to link the green smoothie in the show notes too. Okay. I know every week in your Naptime Kitchen email, you send out kitchen tools and other tools that you swear by. But what is a tool that you swear by in the kitchen right now?
Well, I feel like I always come back to my blender, having a good blender, which is, I just showed the smoothie. So I use a Vitamix and I do swear by the Vitamix. But I'm almost changing my answer in the moment. I have a milk frother, like
Yes.
not the kind that you just stick in your cup, but the kind where you pour the milk in and it heats it and froths it. And it really does make coffee like next level good.
I
And so
have one
that
as
feels
well.
like like a low lift luxury kind of feeling.
Yeah, I love coffee and I have a frother too and I put just a little bit of cinnamon in the frother with oh my goodness. Yeah.
Oh,
It
oh,
makes
I should try the
oh
cinnamon. That's a good
yeah.
idea.
And then if you really want like a little bit of raw honey, oh my gosh, it's just yeah, but the cinnamon, I don't know, it's supposed to help with your digestion too. Who
Oh,
knows?
there we go.
Who
There
knows?
we go.
I just really like the taste of cinnamon. Okay, so favorite simple joy in your day.
Yes. So in the mornings, all three big kids go to the same school. And so when Nate leaves to take them to school, Allie hops in the stroller and I don't drink my coffee right when I wake up. Usually I'm like very sensitive to caffeine. And so I wake up, exercise, have like a protein smoothie. I mean, just like protein
Yeah.
powder and milk kind of smoothie, and then drink my coffee around 8. It just is like if I drink it right when I wake up, I tend to have like bad anxiety spikes.
Hmm.
So at 8 a.m., I like put my coffee with my frothed milk in a cup, and Allie's in the stroller, and we walk our dog Annie around the block. And so that moment just feels kind of like the big kids have left for school.
Mm,
It's like the morning sun. I have my coffee
mhm.
and it's like 10 to 15 minutes tops. It's not a fast walk, but that is like a very high joy moment for me of just that like little ritual in the mornings.
And I think
So,
there's such power in ritual, right? Like setting those little intentions for your day and enjoying them. I think that takes a life that's functional to fulfilling. So I love that.
yeah.
Okay, what's a piece of encouragement as we close out? What's a piece of encouragement you'd love to leave with moms during the month of May or just going forward?
Yes. Um I think this is something I really talk about as we like head into summer, but I think just when we've kind of touched on already, the the month of May is just like one of 12 months.
Mm,
It's one short season of a lot of seasons. And so whenever I can frame that to myself, like this is a short season. It just takes so much of the weight of any decisions I make. So even like I was saying, if you were like, we're going to make the same meal every single
Mhm.
week for the next 4 weeks, it's like short season. Do it
Yep.
for the short season. Or like we are going to buy, maybe you normally make breakfast and you're like, we're buying frozen waffles for
Mhm.
May. Short season.
Yep.
Or if you're like, I feel like I am not doing a great job. Short season. Like it's you in May is not going to be the same probably as you in June or you in July or you in August. And so I think it allows you to give yourself grace, focus on what you need to, take the shortcuts that you need to. But just remember it's not forever, luckily. And so when I frame it that way, it really helps me. And then one other thing I'm saying, I feel like I at least feel this way. I feel a lot of pressure as a mom to make seasons like magical.
Mhm.
And so I can put a lot of pressure on myself in summer. Like, how can I be like the
Mhm.
present, fun mom this summer? But then after summer, it's like the school year starts, and I'm like, how can I be the present mom? And then it's Christmas time. How can I be the present, fun mom at Christmas time? And it's like, you just can't do it all the time.
Yeah.
And so if you're even asking that question, you're probably doing a better job than you think.
Yep.
Um, but I guess just going back to like this is one season of many, and if you feel like you're letting balls drop, like it's okay. It's okay to let some balls drop, or you might not be the perfect present fun mom and have the meals made and have the laundry folded and get the teacher gifts and go to field day. Like it's a lot of pressure to put on yourself. And I'm saying that to myself as we're in it too.
Hey,
So
I've got a high schooler, a middle schooler, and I think the thing is that as kids get older, I think I've learned as a mom, it's okay to let them see you be human too, because then we can navigate then together what that looks like. Like when I screw up or I make a mistake and asking for forgiveness because I'm human too. I think that's all so like just all part of the process. So,
yeah.
I've learned that like it's okay. I need to ask for grace, but I'm in that process. It's still a learning moment for all of us.
Yes. Yes. So true.
'Cause I need grace just as much as you do. So, okay, well, I'm gonna put all of the information. Your handle is at Naptime Kitchen on Instagram. Everybody needs to go follow you. I feel like you're just everyone's kind best friend that leaves you feeling encouraged when you go there. So, everybody, if you need a kind, encouraging best friend, go check her out. Kate, thank you for joining me. We'll put the link to your book in the show notes, and I'm so grateful that you were here today.
Thank you, Erin. Thank you for having me on.
If you liked this episode, it would mean so much if you'd share it with a friend or leave a quick rating and review so others can find our show. Until next time, you can find me at Simple Purposeful Living on Instagram and Facebook.